Hey guys, now that you have some rules of 1 point perspective, which is part of linear perspective under your belt, and you've practiced them, I'd like to give you a little bit of the history of perspective. It's pretty cool. This is the joining of mathematical truth and formal beauty. This is where math, science, and art come together in a very beautiful way. So, until these laws that we have been using were invented, we were creating the three-dimensional illusion on a 2D surface using our intuition. And what that means is just our basic observation. So it's obvious that things do look smaller when they're far away. We also notice that things look bluer, and lines that recede into the distance, the ones that we call converging now, also do look tilted. But they were not able, or artists before the discovery of perspective were not able to really nail this illusion. I'm not going to show you pictures of it. If you want to, you can ask me in class, just because you need a really sharp eye to notice some of these things. Here's a quick picture though. So this is before perspective was discovered, and there are things about this image that don't make sense, but you will see that the people in the background are smaller and things in the foreground are larger. Now, in the Renaissance, this artist named Alberti wrote a book called On Painting. And in this book, he described the formula or the mathematical way to create the illusion of 3 dimensions on a 2D surface. This was super duper accurate, and it was a combination of a lot of people's observations and work. This method, linear perspective, was mathematical and certain. It's a formula. It's real. This led to the belief or the idea in Renaissance art that art should be a window into another world. So artists were viewing the 2-dimensional surface or your paper as, or another word for it is the picture plane, as a window into another world. So another flat surface that is transparent, that you can look through and observe this other world. This is a big deal, super big deal. It brought these laws brought all of our random visual observations about the way things look as they get further away from us under one rule: linear perspective. This, my friends, is the beginning of science. Science really is just a mathematical ordering of observation, and what these guys did with linear perspective is mathematically ordered our visual observations. And you guys have experimented with that formula and with that order and have had some tremendous success creating these 3-dimensional illusions on flat surfaces. So the Renaissance artists, they used measurability, or the ability to measure, as a basis of beauty in fine arts. This is an idea that goes all the way back to some really old philosophers, specifically one named Plato, Plato, who believed that measure is the basis of beauty. If you can measure something, if you can pin it down, then it is beautiful. And the Renaissance artists just absolutely loved this idea and adopted it. They loved the fact that they could measure perspective, measure space on a flat surface, and come out with these really gorgeous drawings. So, measurable perspective or linear perspective, and specifically what you were using 1-point perspective, because remember there is 2 and 3-point. It made possible other scaled or measured drawings that we still use today. Examples of these are maps, charts, graphs, and diagrams. So, this exact representation laid the foundation for modern science and technology, again, which is still used today. So I'd like to show you some examples of these Renaissance paintings. This one, now remember this is the Renaissance, so artists are being paid by what's called, oh shoot, I can't remember the name. I'll think of it. They're being paid to create art for other people. The people who are paying them are very rich. They tend to be very powerful. And in the Renaissance, it means they're running the churches. So a lot of these images are very religious. This is a painting called Christ Delivering the Keys of the Kingdom to St. Peter. It is in the Sistine Chapel in Vatican, Rome, Italy. Perugino. So what you'll see is, again, we have things getting smaller the further back they go, but they've added the linear perspective, and this one is in 1-point here, to the ground to create an even more believable space. Can't see it super great up here, but even clouds follow the laws of linear perspective, so the clouds will be larger up here, and they do get smaller the further back they go. This is Andrea Mantegna. It's a ceiling. So he used linear perspective to look up. This is painted on the ceiling. It is a flat surface, so the vanishing point is going to be somewhere around here, and he used it as a guide. You can see the lines mostly in these circles that are going up, but if you look, this Cupid guy's little butt here, right, his legs are like way bigger than his head. Cool. This is a way to do it looking up. Then we come to Mr. Leonardo da Vinci, the Renaissance man himself. This is a great example of an artist who played not only with the visual arts, but also math and science. He was an engineer. He was a genius. He was ridiculously well-versed. Class is about to start, so we gotta end. But you'll notice that Jesus' face here is the vanishing point, and all of the lines receding into space point to the vanishing point, and it gives a really, really nice space. Last painting I want to show you, and then I'll go get you. This is called the School of Athens, and I think it's a really great example of the merging of science, math, and art, because it is a painting. This was done by Raphael. And it depicts a beautiful three-dimensional space done in 1-point perspective. See it in the floor, you'll see it in the ceiling, and all of these people here are philosophers, mathematicians, and scientists, as well as some artists. I believe this is Raphael himself, and if you look really closely at this painting, you'll see people drawing geometric figures. These guys are discussing philosophy. It's just a beautiful visual representation of what was going on in the Renaissance. The discovery of science, how math plays into it, and how visual arts really gave birth to a lot of these ideas. If you guys would like a little more information on the history and a review of the laws of linear perspective, I am going to post a second YouTube video in Google Classroom. It's not my video, so I can't put it on my YouTube channel. It would be, I believe that would be violating copyright laws, but you can check that out as an option if you would like. And I'm gonna go get you from the hall now. I'll see you on Monday, and we'll talk about your final project. Oh, start thinking. All right, ciao.